Good morning, all of you viewing this channel on YouTube. I hope y'all are doing well today. It's kind of a cold and almost, not quite, but almost frosty morning down here in Robeson County, North Carolina. Weather is what it is. We'll try to make the most of it. But anyhow, anyway, buy a t-shirt from me today. Doo-dah. Get that subliminal messaging in there, folks. Only if you want to. I think 3 people have bought them. Doesn't cost me anything. Upload the design, put it on Teesprings, do a storefront. Either people want to buy it or they don't. I don't know. But I've had a few bought, not many, and that's cool too. But anyway, what shall we gab about today? Well, there's a ton of things we can talk about. One of which is this sham of an impeachment that's still taking place. Hopefully today they'll settle the matter on witnesses. I'm kind of the opinion that if they wanted witnesses, they ought to have interviewed them in the House before it ever got to trial in the Senate. And I think that if they vote today or at the latest tomorrow, they're saying that the Senate's got enough votes to kill this thing by tomorrow. And there's even rumor that 3 or 4 Democratic senators will cross party lines, just like there's several Republican senators who will cross party lines. Republican in name only, I guess, or I like to refer to them as conservative in name only. I really don't give a crap about the Republican Party anymore. They're an abysmal failure, especially here in the state of North Carolina. And if the chair of the Republican Party for North Carolina is watching, yeah, I think y'all are an abysmal failure here in North Carolina. Y'all didn't put any effort into protecting Pat McCrory last election. Y'all just let old Roy Boy Cooper steal the election. Not saying that Pratt would have won, but y'all could have been a better show of faith. But hey, I guess I don't know. I didn't have all the facts. I'll leave that alone. But I don't see how your lieutenant governor and both houses of the legislature stay in conservative hands, but the governor gets voted out. That just didn't make a lick of sense to me. All because of 1 or 2 counties late voting out. Let's talk about voter fraud for a minute, folks. Here's what happened in North Carolina, and there were several reports from other sources other than mainstream media, but enough to be credible in my book, of people driving across county lines, because at the time in North Carolina you could register and vote the same day at a voting site. Yeah. Then there was the accusation of people going and getting folks from old folks' homes to fill out absentee ballots, or just the information on them. One guy called into a radio show I listened to in the morning, talking about where they came and staff allowed a particular political affiliated group to come in and got all the people to sign up for absentee ballots. She told her son, yeah, I voted today. Really? How'd you get to the vote? Oh, they came and had us fill out paperwork, son. Do you even know who you're voting for, Mom? And that's when questions begin to raise. His mother had no idea who she had voted for, because she always remembers filling out paperwork to vote. Never fully investigated. Why? Because old Roy Boy Cooper was the Attorney General of the state of North Carolina at the time. But again, back to the vans, people going from one county to the next voting in elections. There are multiple reports, multiple, seeing the same van with the same people. We didn't do nothing. Up the road here from me in Fayetteville during one of the mayoral elections, they had a gal running for mayor. Her and her campaign were picking up people in a limo, taking them to the voting booth, and then taking them to get something to eat after they had voted. But yet, nobody in the city of Fayetteville wanted to touch it. Now, whether they influenced the people to vote for a particular candidate over another is yet to remain to be seen. But just that perception alone ought to have warranted an investigation from the Cumberland County Board of Elections. But did they touch it? No. That is why we need voter IDs. That's why we need a national voter ID law. I'm not big on national laws per se, but this is one I think nationwide needs to happen nationwide. In order to vote, you must have a photo identification that shows your home of record, your place of residence. So that's the other thing, that the left harped and cried about was college students being allowed to vote in both places. No, you don't get to do that. You either vote where you're from or you vote where you're going to school, but you can't vote in both. It's just not right. It just ain't fair. It's not legal. Forms of identification. Okay, power bill, but you still need to have a photo ID verifying that you are what's on that bill for a utility bill. All right, in this day and age, and see, that goes back to the first voter ID bill passed here in North Carolina. The Supreme Court finally shot down and said it was unconstitutional, which was a bunch of crap. Because people that were against it argued that it would deter and interfere with a certain group of people having the ability to go vote. Don't know why. They can't afford an ID. Clearly stated in the bill that was passed, they could not afford an ID. One would be provided to them without charge. Don't get no better than that, folks. Because face it, you've heard it in the news, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse too much, but we all know you need an ID when you go to the bank and cash check. Ain't no bank gonna cash check until they verify your ID. Get a little sporty out here on the interstate this morning. Around this bucket truck, he's all over the road, Mr. Authorized Spectrum Contractor. But, yeah. But yet they can pile them into a bus and take them to a voting station to vote. Pile them in a bus, take them to DMV and get a free ID. They want to use a military ID as a valid form of identification. I get that, but they need to present a second form as well, such as a utility bill. Because just because you have a military ID, that military ID does not give your residence or address where you're staying as to where you're registered to vote. Especially if you're active duty. Now, see, because active duty, they can either vote in the state that they're home of record or the state that they're residing in. They got to choose one or the other. That's the other thing I didn't like about voter registration when I was in the service. Never could find anybody who ever fully understood that whole absentee ballot thing. And for that, I was remiss for not voting for years. Not to mention that I lived here for so long while I was active duty, but nobody could ever tell me that I could vote until I got ready to retire that I was actually authorized to vote in local elections. And I'd asked, now, don't get me wrong, I'd asked several times. Just didn't ask the right people. I was young. But anyway. Back to the whole voter ID. But there's got to be some way to resolve this issue, mandating that people present an ID to vote. Because this day and age of identity theft, that's the other thing. Several reports of people showing up to vote. You've already voted today. Huh? Can you tell me when? Can you show me the ballot? Well, no, we can't show you the ballot. Then how do you know I voted? Because we've got it recorded here when someone came in. Did you very well? We can't check ID. So I could come in and say I'm so-and-so, and if it's on your voter roll and they hadn't voted, I could vote, huh? Well, because you're telling us that, we'd actually report you. Oh, okay. So now I'm telling you there's a problem here because I am that individual and I have proof that I live at that residence, but you're telling me now I can't vote because somebody else already come in and voted using my name. No, sir, we're telling you that you have voted. No, I haven't been here to vote yet. I did not mail in a ballot. County Board of Elections won't do nothing about it. But I'm hoping this election in November that there will be overwhelming numbers turn out. And I will say from the things that I'm watching and reading and seeing that this election could have the potential of being similar to the Reagan election of '84. It's just a prediction. I've got no hard evidence that that's what's going to happen. I mean, there's like happen between now and November to change people's minds in a heartbeat, especially this given day and age. But all indications right now that the current president's going to slam this thing, and even with all this other mess that's going on, the likes of the Reagan '84 election. If you don't know anything about that, go back and look at an electoral map of 1984, the final results. I mean, President Reagan swept the nation. I think there was one state that year that he didn't get. And there's a lot of people supporting President Trump that the mainstream media does not want to talk about. If you don't think so, go check out the Walk Away movement. Look it up for yourself. I think a young man by the name of Brandon Strack has started the movement. Okay. If you don't know, and I've talked about him before, but if you don't know who he is, he's a former liberal. He is a hairstylist by trade, I think it is. And he's a homosexual. And he got tired of the party he was been a part of, what it had turned into. He said when he chose to cross over into conservatism, nobody looked down on him because of his sexual orientation. Said there was people that didn't agree with it, but they didn't hate him for it. They didn't treat him bad about it. They didn't use him as a group. And since he started the movement, there's been several minority groups that have flocked to his movement. And I mean, when I say flocked, I mean more than you can shake a stick at. More than the mainstream media wants to tell you. But on the other part of why I think it's going to be a slam, I was watching a segment this morning. the divide between the Bernie folks and the Clinton folks. Then you got Clinton attacking another member that's running for president, who's going to turn around and decide to sue her, and good for Tulsi Gabbard. Don't blame her. That's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. I don't know if Tulsi Gabbard will win her day in court against Hillary Clinton, but it'd be nice to see a judgment against Hillary Clinton. Can't get her locked up, take her bank account. That would be a hoot and a half. I'm just really surprised that the DOJ has not gone hard and heavy after Hillary yet. Maybe on the next go around he'll fulfill that promise of locking her up. She ought to have been under the jail years ago. But I was watching something where too, that has been, that Nancy Pelosi's son was involved in some of them Russian oil companies as well, about the time old Hunter Biden was getting involved. Not to mention one of the Bush, George and Jeb's cousin. Whoa, wait a minute, they're Republicans, old soldier. Yeah, but they're globalists. Yeah, don't be fooled. I like second George Bush. He was an amicable guy. But don't be fooled. He was a globalist. Him and his daddy's relationship with the Clintons is just a little too close for my comfort. Given the fact that when Hillary ran for president, that the Clintons' true colors come out. The fact nobody ever put her in check when she was Secretary of State. The lies she was telling. We had to run from the airplane because they were shooting at us. And we were just all running. It showed it in the photo clip. Got off the plane, nobody's shooting. But yet these people still flock to her like she's going to save them. Then pandering to black folks. That's another one that got me. Well, I put hot sauce on everything. Like, come on, stop it. I guess AOC's taking some of those lessons. We don't need no. Oh, come on. Stop with your exaggeration of your speech. But yeah, slanted tangent. Sorry, folks. But yeah, voter fraud and the need for voter ID, I think it's one of the few things that needs to be passed at a national level. Not necessarily a national ID, but a national law requiring that as a citizen of the United States or a legal resident entitled to vote, you must have some form of valid photo identification in the district, state, town, or municipality of which you reside in order to vote in that election. And then leave it to states to regulate it. But like I said, in this day and age with identity theft being what it is, definitively need to have some form of validation that I show up and I give them my name. I need to show some kind of proof without a shadow of a doubt that I am who I say I am. And don't tell me it can be a note on a car sales or what have you. But anyway, folks, I've wasted enough of your time this morning, people. But as always, charities I'd ask you to look out for: tunnelstowers.org, Pin Up for Vets, Valor for Veterans, Folds of Honor. They can't do it by themselves. Anything you can do to donate to help them would be greatly appreciated. Vendors I'd ask you to support: Money Quick Pawn, Rayford Road, Robert's Custom Woodwork, Unsung Patriot, and Black Bag Rifle, or BlackBagResources.com. And if you can, get one or two of my books, maybe one or two of my t-shirts. Until tomorrow, God bless, take care. It's the Old Soldier out.